Local restaurants and gyms must stay outside after a judge rejects their lawsuit, the reason that judge gave for their ruling.
Most cross-border travel is suspended until Christmas, and businesses in San Ysidro are sounding the alarm.
This is the time of the year when 80% or more of their sales are coming for the entire year.
The challenge and risk facing businesses that rely on the border.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
It's a double blow for business owners today as they struggle under the weight of the county and federally imposed restrictions. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. The latest came just this afternoon when a San Diego judge ruled against requests that would have allowed the businesses to stay fully open despite county health mandates. Our ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala has the decision some are calling devastating.
A battle to let San Diego's restaurants and gyms open for indoor services came to a halt Monday when a San Diego judge denied the request. Under the purple tier, restaurants and gyms must only operate outside. Cowboy Star Restaurant and Butcher Shop, Home and Away Encinitas, Fit Athletic Club, and Bear Republic CrossFit took that fight to court Friday on behalf of all restaurants and gyms, requesting a temporary restraining order that would have allowed them to move operations back inside. The judge ruled against that Monday, writing in part, the impact on public health of dismantling a portion of the state's COVID-19 response designed to reduce community spread outweighs the economic harm to plaintiffs, at least pending further examination of these issues in any upcoming hearing on preliminary injunction. Cowboy Star sent ABC 10 News a statement after the ruling, saying in part, "Our entire Cowboy Star family is heartbroken. We believe that we had science and data on our side. We also believe our county health director, Dr. Wooten, and trust her judgment on what is actually happening here in San Diego. Restaurants and gyms are not the problem, and we are being unfairly punished." Jeff Rossman with Terra Hospitality Group owns 2 restaurants. He's not involved in the lawsuit, but would have been allowed to reopen inside if the judge ruled in favor of the business owners.
It's been so hard on all of us restaurateurs and all of our team members. Hey, you're hired again, you're fired again, you're laid off again, you're on unemployment again. It's been so hard. Right now, during the holidays, is the worst time.
The lawyer representing the 4 businesses argued that these industries aren't the cause for the big spike in COVID-19 cases. But the state said the restraining order would disrupt the health-based, data-driven reopening framework designed to slow the spread of COVID-19. They also argued that too many Californians and San Diegans have already died from the virus. Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
The law firm that filed the lawsuit declined to comment on the ruling this afternoon. And as cases surge, the county's rolling average for positive COVID tests hit 5% over the weekend, and it's still there today. The county reported more than 1,100 new cases today, so that brings our local total to 72,815. The county's death toll remains at 968.
The federal restriction on non-essential travel across the border has been extended for another month. And tonight, mom and pop stores that rely on cross-border travelers are hoping people don't forget about them this holiday season. ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco shows us why it's such a critical time for them and why thousands of jobs are at stake.
The lunch hour at La Frontera Tacos is slow. Most of the tables are empty. Geneva Gamas and her family run the business.
So it's kind of been a roller coaster ever since because, everything keeps changing.
One thing that hasn't changed, the restrictions on non-essential travel at the land borders between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. They were set to expire this weekend, but Customs and Border Protection officials confirmed Monday that they've been extended until at least December 21st.
I feel like San Ysidro is kind of like forgotten somehow. Sometimes it's been a challenge to try to keep the place open.
A challenge facing more than 700 businesses in San Ysidro alone, and at the worst possible time, the busy holiday shopping season.
This is the time of the year when 80% or more of their sales are coming, for the entire year. Their sales are concentrated. Most of their sales are concentrated in these, last 6 months, 6 weeks of the year, 5-6 weeks of the year.
The agreement continues the hold on tourism and recreational trips. Essential business and trade are allowed. Crossing for educational or medical reasons is also okay. Gustavo de la Fuente is the executive director of the Smart Border Coalition.
Imagine that that maybe 80% of the buyers in San Ysidro are coming from the Mexican side of the border, more or less. Okay, I'm just giving you some estimates. So imagine that would represent close to $50 million in sales tax just for San Isidro.
You know, if people could just make the effort, if they can, you know, to drive down there or somehow support small businesses in the area.
An effort that could help keep roughly 6,000 people employed. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
De La Fuente hopes that the restrictions are lifted once people start getting the vaccine. Also, with Thanksgiving just days away, one of California's top doctors reminded young people the role they play in spreading the virus. Dr. Mark Galley said people between the ages of 18 and 49 make up 60% of California's COVID cases, but just 7% of the deaths. And people over 65 are just 10% of cases, 75% of deaths.
Those younger individuals who many are not sick or not very sick, not sick at all. They're the asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic individuals, folks who will never need to go into an urgent care center, an emergency room, or be admitted, that they are exactly the individuals. We are the individuals who can spread COVID-19 to our older family members, our older friends, our own older loved ones.
Dr. Galley added that it's more important than ever to do our part because hospitalizations continue to surge.
A team of researchers created a tool to assess the risk of being around someone with COVID while attending holiday gatherings. They have launched an interactive map using real-time data to show that risk. It's called the COVID-19 Event Risk Assessment Planning Tool. The data it uses comes from the state and county levels and is updated daily.
What we do is take the recent last 10 days of new cases, use that as essentially a proxy for how much potential circulating spread there is, but account for under ascertainment of cases. The fact that for every documented case, there are many more actual cases.
The researchers note that their tool only looks at the risk of how many people may already be infected at a gathering. It does not estimate the risk of transmission. The tool can break information down by county, state, even give global risk estimates. To learn more about it, just go to our website, 10news.com. And as the coronavirus surges into Thanksgiving, follow the latest developments with the ABC 10 News app. You can find it for free in the App Store. Also tonight, President Trump is telling his people to cooperate on President-elect Joe Biden's transition to the White House. That announcement came down today as the General Services Administration finally decided to give Biden access to critical resources his team needs for that transition. This all comes more than 2 weeks after Biden was projected to win the 2020 election. In the meantime, the president says despite the transition, he still plans to fight, but his legal team continues to come up short. Judges continue to toss out their cases, saying the legal team is not providing proof of any widespread corruption. Michigan also certified Biden's win in the state today.
And a dumpster fire that spread to a nearby hair salon in La Mesa this morning may have been arson. Investigators say the damage to the Slay Lounge on Broadway was not severe. They believe that fire may be connected to 2 others that ignited nearby. Other nearby businesses sustained smoke damage.
Now, when the pandemic hit, many families faced food insecurity for the first time. And Feeding San Diego also had to change its operations very quickly as that demand grew. Everything from deliveries to volunteers to donations, they were all affected. And that's why we launched our campaign, Month of a Million Meals, a week early. Feeding San Diego receives perfectly good food from places such as restaurants and farms that would normally just be thrown away, and they now give it to people experiencing hunger. But COVID virtually cut off that flow of donations. Feeding San Diego began buying goods from other sources, and it cost millions of dollars. The staff says they've also seen more people show up to get emergency food boxes.
It keeps me motivated, just to know it. And I keep that in mind that the community is very much in need about all this.
We have a wonderful team who deeply cares about our community, is compassionate towards one another, and everyone has stepped up.
They have stepped up. The number of people facing hunger has skyrocketed during the pandemic. And you can help Feeding San Diego continue the essential services with our Month of a Million Meals campaign. So far today, our campaign has raised enough for 200,052 meals. To donate, go to our website, 10news.com, and click on Month of a Million Meals. You can also call into our phone bank until 8 o'clock tonight. You see that number right there on your screen. Right now you can call it, and it's also scrolling along the bottom throughout the show.
We have breaking news now. Sky 10 is flying over a fatal crash at the 805 near the 163. It appears to involve a motorcyclist and a pickup truck in the northbound lanes. The motorcyclist, we are told, died at the scene, and the right two lanes will be closed for a couple of hours.